Well, all right, y'all. All across the USC, Compton, Watts, Bay to LA. Pomona, California, from valley to valley, we represent that killer Cali. So if you keeping it real on your side of your town, you tune in to Gangster Chronicles. Ew.
Gangster Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Ew.
Gangster Chronicles, this is not your average show.
You're now tuned into the real MC8, Big James, and Big Steel.
This is strictly from the streets.
Hello.
We represent the G's.
Welcome to another episode of the Gangster Chronicles podcast, and I'm with my homeboys,
Big J.
Jill. And man, tonight we got a very special guest, man. He's a well-respected individual, not only Los Angeles, but throughout the United States and the rest of the world. He's the owner of Unique Records and Unique Entertainment. He's given us our first glimpse of artists such as the late Nipsey Hussle and Kurupt. He's also a hell of a community activist, and his nonprofit Developing Options conducts several activities for the city's youth, and he's pushing the area against gang violence, crime, and drug abuse. Let's welcome Eugene Henley, also known to the rest of the world as Big U. What's happening with you, man?
Man, I'm good, family.
What's good,
As
family?
always. What up with an 8?
Hey, shit, what's the word, man? What we gonna do about this football, man?
Ooh, man. Hey, man, you know what's crazy? Some of my receivers have turned to linemen.
They're gonna have to switch it up and do something, I see.
And my linemen then turned to bigger linemen.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You know, we was just talking about the football thing, man. And I got to commend you, man, on what you're doing over there, man, for developing options, man. And I found out something just today, man. You developed that after you did your prison stint, man. Was that something that you thought about when you was inside and had been thinking about how you was going to start changing the community around?
Definitely. What I did with Developing Options, I had already talked about and planned it out when I was in there.
Oh, wow. And you've done a lot of stuff with that, man. I know people always have a tendency to think about the football when they think about what people doing with their nonprofits and everything, but you coordinate a whole lot of different services for the community, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do football, we do community give back. We currently feeding the elderly every week. We do a lot of food drives. Like, we real strong around Christmas time and trying to help everybody have a good Christmas. Although I'm a Muslim, I don't practice it. And but I tend to try to want to see, people have something, especially little kids have something. If they can't have nothing at that time, we focus a lot of energy on that. But more than anything, man, it's really like, with the gang intervention, just being an example of how red, blue, and green and all can have marriage together and get along.
Yeah, you've always been a big voice in that, man. What do you think we can do as a society, man, to just make that better, man? Just us all start living as black men.
Man, it's crazy because we just had, like, in the last 9 or the last 6 months, man, we had a bigger spike than we didn't had in years, like in decades, right? Mm-hmm. With the violence, and the violence is different because right now it's neighborhood on neighborhood. It's neighborhoods fighting that didn't ever fight each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that comes because of the youth. Like, when we was younger, we understood and we honored. We had a little more respect on how we do it. These kids don't have that. And it's not that they don't have respect for their elders or their homeboys. It's just that it's not really no honor. And I was crazy I had to say that, but it's not no honor among thieves. And
you ain't never thought about taking some boxing gloves through the neighborhood and tell them to get them up?
Man, look, this the problem. It's not, you know what I mean? These niggas ain't fighting. These niggas is bone thin from using all these different drugs. They ain't none of them. They know they can't fight. It's only one or two of them they can. But if you look at these kids, these cats, man, these cats is this thin now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's because of the shit they putting in their system. And you got to remember, man, like, and this is the real key. when we was younger, it wasn't fashionable. We using cocaine, tooting and smoking and taking all them pills. That's what we didn't do.
We looked at that as bullshit. For you to be indulging in that lifestyle and want to be a gangster claiming a neighborhood, you was looked on. You was straight up as the cluckhead. You feel me?
The cluckhead.
Yeah, you was.
Now we living in the air. We living in the air where these dudes is powder heads and all this shit in this state thing. You know, and you get 7 or 8 of them that's doing the same thing. They got a crew. That's a crew. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, I'm gonna pull up on mine, but the dudes can't do that everywhere else.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, the drugs is a big thing because these cats, they not only out here smoking weed, man, they on the lean, snorting cocaine. Now, like you said, cocaine wasn't fashionable when we was coming up. You was like Ace said, you was a cluck if you was doing that. And it's definitely the drugs, man. You know, you hear it a lot more in music. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, it was, you know, it was frowned down upon, man. Now the music is condoned and everything, and it's pretty much put out there in front of our kids at an alarming rate.
Well, you know, our music promoted using marijuana, but we didn't promote using cocaine. So we in that middle. The music before us that we grew up on, they was talking about heroin, angel dust, PCP. They was talking about all of that. But our music was talking about pushing it.
Yeah.
What do you Big U? What do you think leads the kids into that role of advocating sipping on lean now and motherfucking doing all the drugs that they promote with
it's
the
popular music? It's popular music. Like it's popular music. Like right now, the South is on. So if you remember, that lean came from there.
Right.
That lean, the dreads, you can see. We used to dictate the culture, the look of the culture. Pendletons, khakis, 501s, golf hats, we dictated that for a whole era. So, but when you look at it now, our kids look and sound like they from the South.
Yeah, it's real shit.
Because lean and taking and ingesting lean didn't come from us. That's some shit that came from the South. We dictated all of that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy and it's out of control. It's an epidemic right now. We losing a lot of people. It's like this opioid epidemic is like the crack epidemic was in the 80s. It's a lot of people falling out, man, from that stuff, man, between them pills and that lean and stuff, because it's all heroin at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, it's all heroin at the end of the day.
You got to find a way to reach the young cats in the neighborhood. Especially with you, Big U, you got a lot of influence over there. So you can't pull up. You can pull up and put them little niggas in a huddle and hold a conversation. Most of the big homies, these little cats don't respect the big homies no more. The big homies can't tell them shit because they don't want to hear it. They want to get down like they get down. I mean, look at the way they dress now. They sagging way harder than we did back in the days.
Man, that ain't even like real talk. I look at these dudes, man, that don't mean nothing no more. Yeah. The way these dudes wear their clothes don't represent like we used to represent. Sagging used to mean something to us. Sagging meant that you was banging, and then I always hear people talk about sagging like and where it came from. Shit, sagging was like, I know at me at Horseman in 1979, when hip hop first came, we couldn't wear cape. It was all the different ways we tried to represent. You couldn't wear the rags no more. When they took the rags, you'll get the write-up for the rag. Right. If you came with the cake cutter, you'll get the write-up for having the cake up. You heard the cake cutter out your left pocket, right pocket, they write you up for that. Then we tried to put studs on our pants and put 6 studs and put studs on one side, put our golf hats to the side. They'll write you up for that. The only thing they could not write us up for at Horseman Middle School was if we left our belt at home. Hey, well, get on that, you say. So, you can't give me no write-up for that. I left my belt. They try to make it time. Remember, we cut our pants up. Exactly. They'll give you a sew, or they give you a fucking needle and thread till you sew that shit up right there.
Yeah.
Right there, like a motherfucker.
I don't know where nobody else sagging came from, but that's definitely where we got sagging from, because they couldn't tell us nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? They couldn't tell us, like, when you pull your pants up, we pull our pants up, you're gonna see the underwear, see what we got on, you're gonna see something. But so, and today, I look at these dudes, man, these niggas they just show their ass. Everybody.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
Man, I done seen some niggas sagging hard with shit stains in their drawers. And they ain't even paying attention.
Yeah.
Just dirt.
And they ain't paying attention.
But it's a shame though. So how do you reach to how do you react to those little cats over there?
Man, look, what I'm gonna say this, man, and you always toot your horn. You know, it's always a give and a take. You know what I mean? It ain't never nothing perfect. We ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. I'm not living a perfect life, man. You know what I mean? I'm striving for better in everything that I do, and greatness in everything that I do. It's just. I think. Well, now I think. I know they respect me because they see where I am. And they see I'm still right here. I'm still obtainable. I'm still touchable. I'm still in the hood. I still live in the hood. I live right on top of the hill. I'm still obtainable. If you want to get somewhere, so it's like, you know, you respect the dude that's around. You know what I mean? You respect the dude who's showing you what a grown man can do. Like, I'm around, but I ain't around. Like, I'm buying property over here. I'm actually in one of my properties right now in my neighborhood, and that I just got about a year ago. And I'm just chilling right here. We're gonna start building this out and change this out a couple of months. I'm just waiting for line for the building, but they understand. They like, okay, the big homie, you know what I mean? He right here, first generation, and still I give them a couple of them if I have to.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they respect that. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no young nigga gonna tell me he ain't listening to me. And I say that because I feel like, nigga, I was here first and I ain't never fell off. So when I fall off, then you can say you ain't listening to me, nigga, but you ain't finna come around here and you ain't been around here for 10 years and now you been around here 10 years, and nigga been around here 50, and now you... Nah, I ain't on the block. I ain't gonna tell you how to run the block, but I'm damn sure gonna come and say, like, man, look, why are we beefing with these niggas? What's up with this? You know, I'm gonna definitely say that. I'm gonna definitely get it, you know, I mean, I feel like this. A lot of G niggas don't want to have to go through that, and I can respect that, but it's necessary for somebody to be there, a common force. Because I remember when we was younger, man, coming up, and we was going and getting into it with other dudes that we got along with, and the homies would be like, man, hold on, man, y'all slow up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't go over there tripping on them niggas. We been getting along with them niggas for years, man. And that's always.
Right.
Well, you don't have discipline like that in the neighborhood no more. And, you know, like the shit going on in Compton right now, these cats is dropping like flies, just killing each other for nothing. And, you know, I believe you ain't gonna never be able to stop gangbanging. That shit is just there. But you gotta find a way to fix how the shit is going right now. And nobody got a solution for that. You know what I'm saying? Because
I got a solution for it.
What's that?
We got to get involved. That's for real, bro. I'm going to tell you like this. Real talk. It's more niggas that's not doing the bullshit than it is niggas that's doing the bullshit.
Right.
On any given time on the streets.
Right.
That's a fact. Because if a nigga is doing the bullshit, he's eventually going to get locked up. So at any given time, there are more niggas from every set that's not on the bullshit on the streets that's free than the niggas that is.
You got gangbangers and got gang members.
Yep.
You got some cats more into the gangbanging shit than the other ones is. Some niggas ain't finna get in no car and go do no drive-by. You know what I'm saying? They just ain't gonna do it. And then you got the hitters. You know what I'm saying? Them the ones you gotta talk to, but them the ones that don't wanna listen.
But every neighborhood only got about, keep it 100, every neighborhood got 2-3 clicks of the hitters. It depends on how big that neighborhood is. And then, you know what I'm saying, you only get, every neighborhood ain't clicked on where everybody's going. Now, something can happen to you can hit the right nigga in a certain neighborhood, and now everybody's galvanized and going, and then that's gonna last for a period. But just on a regular basis, it's not, you know, every nigga that's going. So to keep it 100, with effort from everybody, no, it can be changed. It ain't over because, and the reason why I would never say it's over and it's not doable is because we did it in the pen. We did it in the pen for years.
Still doing it in there. They still doing it in there. You got to watch each other. But when you come home, it's right back to the same thing. If brothers brought that home, that same mentality home with them, no, nigga, this ain't how we getting down. We got to look out for each other.
But how do we change those mentalities from the niggas who come home and want to be on that, but the niggas who still stuck on, like you said? How do we change niggas' motherfucking minds?
Well, you got to look at it like this, gangbanging has took a turn for the worse. You got gangbangers with gangbangers messing around like on some faulty shit. You got guys that's dyeing their hair and wearing pants with 12 zippers. It's just so fucking different. Why gangbang if this is the look, if this is the way? You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to bring it up, but you got cats, I don't know if they coming from prison with this motherfucking attitude or mentality or, you know, messing with boys. You know what I'm saying? That's not an everyday thing in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of these cats is getting locked up on GP shit. You know what I'm saying? And they just don't have nobody to guide them the right way. You know what I'm saying? And everybody out there, the majority of, think that you have to do a drive-by to be solidified in the hood. That's not what it is. You have to put in work. No, everybody ain't built for that.
But I'm gonna say that though, real talk, the answer is really in us, bro.
Yeah.
You really can't, and it's crazy because I hear dudes talking all the time. Like, we trying to get a program to go into the county jail, right? To try to address the fades. You got to go in and get 3 fades and all this and all that. Mm-hmm. And then these niggas is getting these fades coming out and feeling like, you know, it didn't go their way or they feeling some kind of way about it. So we trying to create a program to help that. That will in my mind, they called me and asked me what was the one way I felt we can affect change in South Central and I said that. Stop the fades. Go into the county jail. Stop these niggas from coming in, getting beat up. Dudes get beat up who don't know. They ain't even really from a hood. They just grew up and they accidentally tell them over the wrong place where they grew up. Now you got to get a fade, 3 fades. You got to get beat up. You might get stabbed. If you win too many fights, you can't win because you're in a bad situation. So if you win, you know, you're going to get your ass kicked. Now,
when they doing that boxing program in Folsom or Soledad, didn't they have a boxing program like that?
No, that ain't the boxing program. When you come to the county jail right now, if you from certain neighborhoods, you're going to get them fades. And they set it up. There ain't no boxing program.
Right, fuck it. We got to run them fades.
Yeah. They got the non-affiliate fights. But so this is just something, this is another program that I'm getting involved in to help go address those things that's happening within the county jail. You know what I mean? And so we trying to put something together to get inside there to you know, affect change in there, then they're about affecting change out here. Because on the west side of LA, when niggas come home, you know, from Inglewood all the way to the east side, if you affiliated with neighborhood or the neighborhood card, a gangster card, it's on. And you're gonna get touched. So that's a real thing. So that's something that we are presently working on. We probably mean, I think I got a Zoom call tomorrow. It's tomorrow Thursday. I'm not sure.
No, the day Thursday.
Yeah, the day Thursday.
I think I missed it.
You don't fuck around and miss the meeting.
I'm trying to figure out.
So you dealing with
that's some good shit though, because
dealing with the music and shit and where we come from and shit like that. Do you feel like, how you feel when niggas say the music that we put out in our time or whatever, do you feel you're responsible for what youth are participating in or the music they pushing? Do you feel responsible because of what you went through and what you pushed, as far as you know, with Nipsey or with Kurupt?
I'll be honest with you, man. I feel more responsible for the gang. The music, yeah, but I feel more responsible for just the gang appetite, like the affiliation. I feel that bothers me more than the music. Just my involvement in gang life as a whole is what makes me not sleep. What makes me try to continue to do what I'm doing to get to heaven. If there's a heaven, the Yama Kiyama, I want to go. So I don't pretty much tend to like saying music, although I feel like I said earlier today, music bears a great responsibility for violence along with the film. Because see, the music is the tinderbox of the mind that gives you a vision of violence. But the actual cinema photography gives you the actual picture of death. I could talk about in a song, rolling down, killing, doing all this shit. But
right.
But Lethal Weapon, the movie, fucking King of New York, had more of a daunting effect on me than any rap song, because when I seen Dude and Lethal Weapon working them 9mm at 17, 18, 19, however I was, when I seen Lawrence Fishburne, the King of New York, working 2 9mm, I'm like, shit. And we was already in the streets. But before that, we had already all seen Godfather. We had already seen how they dealt. We had already grew up on Clint Eastwood. So these was the pictures. What we came with was just the rap music. So niggas was killing well before rap music got here.
Right. So true.
You know, while we on music right now, what made you, because you have unique records and unique entertainment, when did you catch the music bug?
I was just like every last one of us on this phone, man. Nigga had to sing in the choir. nigga had a drums. Every one of us had a drum set.
Drum set, yep.
You know what I'm saying? We all had something that we picked though that did it. We all sung with the homies before we was full gang members, before we was 12. We all thought we was gonna be like the Temptations. We all did it. We all did that. You know?
Every motherfucking Sunday.
Every day, nigga, we be walking thinking we was harmonizing. I was all of us. You know, I tell people all the time, man, we all grew up the same, man. We children of the South who parents moved to the West to find something better. And so we all grew up exactly the same. I'm not the nigga who think I grew up different than nobody else. I'm the guy who feels like everything I did, we all did it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then we all plucked at different opportunities and slowed different thoughts down and made them things manifest in a different way. I think only one thing that separated me from everybody else was martial arts. I think that's it, and that's where it starts. And it starts because martial arts and studying fighting in martial arts, it gave me a different swag and a different confidence when I was around people. But other than that, that's exactly where it stops. Like, anybody can pick up a gun. Anybody can go to jail and don't tell. Anybody can go fight and do this. Anybody, I mean, you know, that's the only thing that separated me. And because of that confidence, it gave me and my crew, because all of us knew it. and all of us was on the AG, which was in the 60s. And we all knew how to fight. We all, like, I'm a black belt. You know, my cousins was all belted up. We all went to go fight. We trained. We. If you got in trouble, you got in trouble at the karate school. So you had 6 niggas who were all first cousins who can't run. Who all, even if it was 3 of us and we went in the room with 20 niggas, we feeling like, with Pim, yeah, I mean, these guys. So that gave us a different swag, and that gave the Rolling 60s a different swag when we went places and people made us Rolling 60s, or we was aligned with that. So we like, okay, what we doing? And we, you know what I mean? So that was I feel like that's the only difference. And opportunities, I didn't have a lot of opportunities, man. We came up hustling like everybody else, and we was on the West Side, so we kind of took our opportunities.
Right.
Yeah, so at what point did you say, you know what, man, I got some little homies over here that's rapping and everything, I'm gonna start Unique Records? Who was your first artist?
Pop LQ, Laquan, 1989.
My nigga right there, man.
1989. Hey, to tell you, look, I didn't even go get I didn't get him, he got me. Pop LQ signed me. Let me tell you, I came home 1989 or 19, and A to tell you, when Pop LQ had that hit song, the B-side, I ran into him in the Fox Hill Mall. I was in the Fox Hill Mall. He walked up to me, he got a flat top, and he walked up to me, say, I was with a couple of the homies, you know, we mobbed in the Fox Hill Mall at that time. He like walked up to me through all the squad. He like, what's up? What's up, you? And I'm like, what's up? And he like, you used to work for my pops. And I'm like, I used to work for your pops. I'm like, man, I ain't never work for nobody, man. What's that? But I'm looking at him. He could have only been 17, 16, 18. And he said, yeah, man, I used to work for my pops. And I said, what's your pops' name? He said, Mr. Green. I said, OG Green? I said, oh, yeah. I done some work for your pop. But anyway, nevertheless, man, your pops, how he doing? Because his father had just got locked up. And he knew I had a bag. So he came to me in 89, 90, and was like, I want you to start managing me. I want you to start helping me with my music. I had no clue about music, didn't give a damn about music. I was in the morning, I was getting a bag out of Minnesota. And, you know, so he started asking, he'd come to my house, him and Mike Tyson nephew, and now he asking me every time he's doing a video, I'm going to the videos with him, learning a little bit more about the videos. I'm showing up at shows with him, going to shows. So I started getting into it. And then Lamont Broomfield came shortly after that and was like, bro, fuck with me on the homie Kurupt. And I'm like, all right. But I'd already been going in and out of town messing with Laquan, and Laquan was on another level at that time. He was flying high. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna mess with Kurupt. And that's when I started dealing with Kurupt. And we was in the process of getting the paperwork together, doing everything. And I left. I got kidnapped and I was gone for 13 years. But because of me and Kurupt's small relationship, it stayed with Kurupt. And Kurupt didn't even have to shout me out, bro. He didn't owe me nothing. I hadn't gave him no money. One thing I did with Kurupt, I caught Kurupt in the car with the little homies, and they about to go get cracking. And I told him, I said, man, ain't you the rapper? Because you know, you can't come and holler at me. And I was on my ignorant shit halfway on and off. And I'm like, ain't you the rapper? He like, yeah, man. I said, man, get your ass out the car, bro. And I snatched him out the car, told him to go back around there and get your rapping on, what you supposed to be doing. If you want to help these niggas, when you make it, you bring these niggas with you. And that stuck with him. So when I finally failed, I'm on the yard and niggas is coming up to me, telling me, man, you know the nigga Kurupt? And I'm like, the little young rapper, he like, man, the nigga got you in a song. And the nigga would, and I'm like, then I'm on the yard, level 4 yard, I get some pictures one day. No, I got an envelope. And the envelope had just somebody had sent me $3,000 on the, you know how they tagged me back then, they put it on the envelope. And you don't get that. You don't get the pictures or the letter or none of that. So I had to wait for the picture of the letter. They just sent me the thing, let me know I can make draw. I'm like, damn. But we was on lockdown, so I couldn't even call wifey and ask her, you know, who was that? Then the letter came and another envelope came. and it was pictures from him, and it was on from there, man. But he didn't even have to come back and shout me out in no way, because before I had left, me, Harry O, and I hadn't even met Harry O yet, but we was talking from them in jail. They was trying to sign Laquan, the Pop LQ, and that's when I failed. So I was just really getting into it. So I was really in it before I left.
Oh, wow, man. And you did a lot of powerful stuff, because we all know what happened with Kurupt, man. And you also been dabbling in the movies, man, for the last few years, too.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know you don't have your hands in a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
How are you getting all this shit? Look, you?
Huh?
How are you getting all this shit? Every time I turn around, I see, man, you got this cracking, got that cracking. What's the secret, bro?
No sleep. I look for the opportunity. I study and I make sure it ain't gonna backfire. I'm like y'all, man. I'm like, I can tell you, man, I promise you, like eight, I know 8 get inundated with all kind of shit. And sometimes you gotta look through that shit and see what's really right and what's not right. You know what I mean? And I look at it like that, then I try to stay true to my name. And that hurts me a lot, because, it hurts me being Big U, and then it helps me being Big U. But, when I say it hurts me because most people don't want me to be, don't even realize I can read and write. Like, most niggas want me to be just, oh, Big U, he gonna do this, he gonna take that, he gonna do. I'm not taking nothing but what's mine. I'm not going through no door I'm not supposed to go through. But what I am gonna do is hold a man to his word, to a T. If it's supposed to be right, then let that be right.
Man, I called Lee Ford before we started this show, and I was talking to him, and I was telling him, yeah, we about to do a Zoom with Big U. Oh yeah, that's my dog, man. He good, he woo woo. You'll see the difference when you because all I heard about Big U is, oh, Big U is a bully. Big U takes shit. And I seen you on Vlad once before. He told me don't even mention it, but I gotta ask you. You had said there wouldn't be a death row if I was out with Suge. And I'm like, I gotta ask him what he mean by that. Because from my knowledge, you and Suge was fucking with each other.
Yeah, but not before I went to prison.
When you go to prison?
I went to prison in 1991.
Okay. That was right at the beginning.
Yeah, I went to prison in 91.
So you was fucking with him before that?
No, not at all. You gotta remember, man. You gotta remember. My mentality was one of sorts. Like, one, he wouldn't have had Kurupt.
Right.
He wouldn't have never had Kurupt. So he wouldn't have had a connection to us on the West Side. 2, you wasn't gonna run through LA in Hollywood and all those parts where I was and where we was running a Compton Piru thing. That's what I mean. And I mean, and because we were strong, I was very strong at that time when I left. And you know what I mean? And unless we had an understanding, and like me, I said it to Suge. Me and Suge used to talk about it. You know what I mean? Because you couldn't have came out here at that time doing that from out there. You know what I mean? That's just realistically. It's like, wasn't no LA nigga coming to Compton and bouncing up and down Compton Avenue and doing all that. You was gonna have Compton Bloods, Compton Crips, Compton, everybody like hollering. It wasn't no lot of niggas coming from there coming to LA doing that either, bro. It just wasn't. I'm sorry.
So it was basically respect the territory. You ain't gonna come and just disrupt our spot like you think you own the shit.
The things I heard would have made me focus on him. And the person I was,
come on,
hey,
I swear to God, I just wanted to know from your point of view, because you didn't go into details with Vlad, and my whole thing was like, that would have been, niggas would have had to accept the confrontation. And that's what you're looking for when you're out there gangbanging like that. That
No,
confrontation.
you gotta understand, bro. I was on a whole nother level. I wasn't. It wasn't even no. Wasn't no. I was on a. You know, it was. We probably could have been way. We probably could have been what we was when I came home. You know what I mean? You never know. You just
That's what I
never
was
know.
gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Cause y'all wound up being actually really real tight, didn't y'all? He wound up looking out for you and everything like that. Yeah.
Definitely,
And
man. Like, no, we wound up being, I love him like a brother. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, he looked out for you better than he looked out for the ones that was there for him. Shit. I was
well, I
mad.
don't know. And I think people think he looked out for me more than he did because he looked out for me. I didn't want a lot of shit. Like, the reason why I'm not filthy rich to this day is because I don't want to be obligated to niggas. So I didn't get looked out for like niggas thought I was, and it's hard for me to go chase that. The first money I ever got when I got home, more than $30,000, I got it from game. I never got nothing more than that from my brother, but when he helped me with a case. You know what I'm saying? And that was more than that. So I didn't get no money to go make it in the world from him. I never got a dime from him because I didn't want it.
Right.
I got money from Games 310 shoe deal. That was the most money I got. Almost at one time in music, living to this day.
Right.
I never got nothing more than that from anybody in this industry than I got from with Game. And a lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? I made like around about 300 with that deal with Game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that hit me at the time that people thought I was shining because of Suge. I wasn't. I was shining, no. Now let me take that. He definitely helped me, but to be able to move and do other things I wanted to do and help get my nigga nuts out the sand and stand up a little bit and breathe a little bit and be able to say, no to the world. I know I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do that. No, I'm going to do this. That was Game. That was a Game shoe deal.
So he had looked out for you. I saw something, man, I'm real excited about, man, that you got involved with. First, I'm going to tell you about the Hip Hop Uncovered thing I think comes out. Does that come out this month?
Yep, on the 12th.
Drop this month.
And that was big, man. And I was, the reason I liked it, man, is because guys like you, Trick, I think they get misunderstood, man, because y'all all good dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I talk to people, y'all almost like mythical figures. But I think it was important for them to talk about you guys because a lot of the stuff that's shaking the music wouldn't be shaking if it wasn't for y'all. How did you get involved in that project?
Again, a Pyru out of Compton came to me, Jimmy Chris, with the idea to do a management show. And it's around about the same time that we always trying to pitch shows and everybody was trying to come up with something, the next Love and Hip Hop. And we was all trying to like shooting, and we dudes was just starting to do podcasts, and we was just all trying to figure out, look, it's time to get behind this camera and not this mic. So he came to me because, like I said, this thing started 4 years ago. We actually started on this 4 years ago. He came to me, asked me to shoot the pilot, and I had owed him because I had shot some stuff when I was trying to do a gang show in his neighborhood, and he had let me shoot over there. And I going around, I did the Treetops, I did Dim, I did all of, and Jimmy Chris, aka Jim Bob, he came to me. So I in kind returned the favor to him. And when I did it, I was like, look, I'm gonna do it, but I needed to look a certain way. Like, I don't want to do this. I want to look a certain way. Along with the message you trying to tell, this is the message I want to tell, and I'll help you do it. So we shot the pilot, and it went out there, went to a bunch of different places. We got a bunch of no's. We got to change this, and we came back, reshot it again, and it was me. It was really just me. And then people was like, man, we don't know who he is. So the people that run hip hop right now, the white people, was like, we don't have no idea who Big U is. Like, who is he? Like, what has he done? And I think something happened when we ran into Lightbox, and something happened on the internet or something, and people started talking about my name. I don't know what it was, and then they was like, some of the executives called it, and then they called back and was like, "Oh, did y'all have a party? Well, that's the guy." And then they went on and did it. So he came to the table, and we was in negotiation, and we signed our deal with them for a lesser deal than I would have wanted to take. 3 weeks before Nipsey died. When Nipsey died, we was already locked in the deal. And I was like,
y'all could have got probably quadruple or whatever it is that y'all got going on.
To keep it 100, and I mean not to say it like that, but if I hadn't signed the deal before little bro died, I'd have hit him for a bag. But I mean, it's just like life was. And we had signed that deal. I swear to goodness gracious, I had signed it 3 weeks. Me and Nip was talking about it because Nip wanted to do the documentary on Big U. And Nip was like, "I got the people. I'm going to line it up, bro. I'm sitting down with the production company. I'm going to introduce Big U." And that's why when you see us in the studio on some of it, you see me and him in the studio, we talking about that. We had linked up and we was rolling like, right before he passed, man. The weird thing is, like right before he passed, it was almost like he was in a different place with life and his philosophy. He calling me every morning, I'm for the roll down on you. And he come pick me up. You know what I mean? And he was just like, "Man, yeah, we gonna do this. We finna do it like Top Dog and Kendrick Lamar and bring you back." And I'm like, "Man, I ain't coming back to manage you, man." And he's like, "You got to." And I'm like, "What about my old contract?" He said, "You still got the contract? You gonna be Big U. Who gonna tell you?" And I'm like, but, you know what I'm saying? And then it was so that's really how we got on the show. That's how the show started from Jimmy Chris. He came to me. I shot the pilot. Then I got involved. I said, I got to be on the executive side and I got to make it look a certain way. And it ended up being a hella phenomenal project. It started off as a 1 episode and we was going to break all 5 people down. And we ended up luckily getting a really intelligent and involved team, and it's what you see now. Have y'all seen it? Any episodes?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to go tap into it. Like right as soon as we get done with this, we doing it because I saw something about it and I said, "When is this coming on?" But then you get caught up in life and everything like that. I said, "Oh, this is actually out already."
Nah, it's not out, man. Look, our episode is episode 1. West Coast episode is 3 and 6. 3 and 6. Episode 3 is to me is like the representation of when y'all come in, when 8 them come in, when Snoop come in, when the West Coast, because it's the East Coast version, and you see that East Coast influence. And then you so the first question on it is, where was you at in 1979? So imagine that being the question. Where were you in 1979? All of us can answer that.
Yeah.
I was at Horseman Middle School. And in 1979, when Rapper's Delight hit, we was all trying to go back home, learn that song, come back, because it was the first rap song we had ever heard. But also in 1979, for me, at Horseman Middle School, was the start of the war between the Crips and the Crips. So when hip-hop hit us, gang banging like we was about to meet was coming. The Crips started fighting the Crips, and the death toll in LA went crazy. And we started seeing a violence we had never seen. And that came with hip hop. And then crack went with hip hop. When crack grew, it went across the country and hip hop went with it around the country. And West Coast hip hop went with crack around the country. West Coast policing, paramilitary policing style with Daryl Gates went across the country. We then became the epicenter of what hip hop looked like for the next 15 years.
Right. That's some real shit, man.
Right.
And what's crazy about everything, man, is I laugh when I hear about people, because you, like I said before, you're almost like a mythical figure. So when I'm talking to some of the cats back east and down south, and they have mentioned your name, they always ask me, man, what's up with Big U? And I say, man, Big U was a cool nigga, probably over there coaching some kids up with some football and talking some shit.
Exactly.
Because he been avoiding my fade. He been avoiding the fade with the almighty Coach Steele for a long time. And I let him slide, you know, by
Man,
going to
look.
retirement.
Let me tell you this. Let me go on and give Steele his credit, man. Steele will probably beat me for sure. And that's because of this. I cannot recruit kids that Steele can recruit.
Yeah,
because I live in the 60s.
You know we can't recruit.
I live in the 60s. I'm from the 60s. It's just people not going to let their kids play for me. Period. Crenshaw's going to always have a stigma. But let's say this. You're going to have at least 6 of mine on your team to play against me. So it's
without
unfair.
a doubt. Without a doubt.
So
man.
that don't work. So I mean, no matter how much work we do in our community, y'all still come filter and pillage our community.
Well, we got to. Y'all
you
got
know,
all the hogs. Some of my hardest kids come from over there, but shoot,
okay,
that's what I
now what
say.
if I was able to keep my kids and because most of these parents, they don't know me, so they think I'm sitting around telling kids, get the blue rag, pick this up, do this. So this is really how any coach can get the kid not to come to me. All they got to say, man, he gonna have your son gang banging. He gonna have your son wooty woo. And I fight this every day. You know, I fight it every single day. And I mean, it's unfair. I can sit down and cry about it, but you know what I do? I'm gonna coach with calm.
You know one thing I want to say, man, and we ain't gonna hold you no long time because I know you're a busy dude and we appreciate you coming on. One thing I will say is I'll pull up on you over there. And that felt nothing but love. Don't got the most free hot dogs I've ever gotten. It's been a wonderful environment. And so I want to say that to say this, man, we can't believe everything about our Black people, man, that we see online or some stuff because it's always deeper than what you know. You do a lot of incredible stuff for them kids over there. I saw one time that you was getting the little young sisters their prom dresses and stuff, and the little boys their suits and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was a few years ago.
And still, like you just got through getting all the kids' shoes, and you get hooked up with all the niggas and get the kids' shoes and all that type of shit. Man, it's a lot. People perceive, you know, your reputation from what it was than what you do now because people don't want to look beyond. But that's what people have to be able to do. They have to be able to, just like with you, James, the same shit. You hear your fucking name and people be like, they think the same fucking affiliation. They don't know the growth.
I'm into the suits and the shoes and all that. So if you ever need a donation, let me know. The only person I go through now is Cynthia Nunn. You know, she got Sylvia Angels over there. And I took a gang of shit and some turkeys. I bought a gang of shit for her backpacks and all that shit. So anything I can do to help with kids and homeless people, you can count me in. I drop it off anywhere.
Because I know, especially with the stuff my son doing now, I always talk to Chris about him having to give back to the community, right? I say, man, you know, you go ahead and bust this check down. I said, who do you want to help? He said, Pops, you know, I'll be checking out, you know, he called you Coach Henley. You know, the kids know you as coach, you know what I'm saying? He said, I want to go over there and help Coach Henley and them, because y'all look out for them kids over there at SC, man.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, my son was at a gas station. He should have been at one night. And he said, man, I know your pops. You know, take your ass. What is you doing over here? Take your ass back onto that campus, you know? But, man, I got one more question. I got 2 more questions to ask you. What's up with the Checking In podcast, man?
Oh, man. So, really, I just put it together with an idea. We figured out we'd do it. And the name came out. It's the name is unique. So it's like, I want the podcast to talk about the streets. I mean, look, it's exactly what y'all do. I looked at what y'all was doing. And when you was telling me about it, I didn't really want to do it. I want to get a mic. And I figured a lot of people was telling me, man, they going to want to hear what you got to say. And they talked me into doing it. And I sat down and I did a couple of pilots. And I'm like, man, I think I can do this. I think I can make people feel comfortable enough to really express themselves and to be able to, you know, chop it up on the couch and answer the hard questions in a right way. You know what I mean? I don't want to do Vlad. I ain't trying to get nobody locked up. I don't want to do nothing that's shocking and insensitive. I want people to be able to really chop it up with a G. You know,
well, they're gonna hear your 100 though. That's what they listen for. They just want to hear your 100. And as long as you're giving them that, man, you got them all. You got them. They gonna listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the beautiful thing about this podcast and stuff. It's really allowing us to have a voice for us, not going through no motherfucker where he can chop it up and make it sound like he want to sound. No, this coming straight from us, unfiltered and raw.
How many times do y'all shoot it? Like, how do y'all? What's the platform?
Man, shoot, we shoot like this week. This is our second episode we done this week. We did the one that dropped today already, and this one we doing now, man, to drop next week. This will drop on Thursday, so we do it once a week. And sometimes, man, we've had times where we don't knocked out 2 and 3 shows in a week. Sometimes it's just how it comes, because like the convenient time for you to do the interview was Thursday at 7:00. Okay, that's when we go do this interview. You know what I mean? Because this about
right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it just be me, James, and H just sitting and chopping up, and that's our normal show we do on every Tuesday, man. But man, it's it's a beautiful thing. It ain't nothing but a conversation. I don't even look at it as an interview. It's interview.
Really, it feel good though. It feel good.
Yeah, it's just natural. You know what I'm saying? Just natural. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to put him niggas up on some bullshit where people can come and express themselves, talk about their past or talk about their positive inputs on their positive effects on what they doing right now. So, like I said, a lot of motherfuckers, when they hear your name or they hear who associated with shit, they already get a estimation of who you are. So we try to change that with this podcast and give people a platform where they can come and express themselves, and people can be like, man, niggas is highly intelligent motherfuckers. You feel me?
Right.
Just to see that people is because my biggest thing with this shit is I try to let the outside people look at people when they see a black man. Don't look at it. You don't see just a Crip or a Blood. That's a man right there. Because we all men before you anything else. You come into the world as a man or a woman. You know what I mean? Nothing else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is the last question I got for you. What in your definition, man, what did Nipsey mean to LA?
Wow. It's crazy. I want to say what he meant to LA is, I don't know. What he meant to us.
To the world, actually to the world, but he's just an icon, like he's LA's icon.
Well, I got to separate that. Because see, what he meant to us is different. And what he meant to me is different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I got to tell you what he meant to me. He was my love. He was the one I seen first, and I said, he can do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He was the one that I said, out of all the people I looked at, I said to me, put your money on Nip.
A lot of people don't know how hard, how long you and him was riding together. Because you was riding him.
And that's the thing. People got to understand that it took somebody to say, this the one. So what the world seen is what I already seen. You know what I mean?
You saw that shit you saw that from the beginning.
Exactly. I saw it. I saw what the world had to later come to see. I met him when he was a baby, and in my mind, I knew he could become this. Because when I first met him, he was talking about bullets ain't got no name. He was talking about Crip walking. He was talking about sea walking. He was talking about that. And in the conversations we had in the natural growth, he became what everybody else can respect and then try to equate to Pac and all them. But I seen it first. That's an appropriate question. But the most appropriate answer is I seen it first. You know what I mean?
You did.
Like, out of all the artists in the world, you got to remember, I had been around Snoop. I had been around MC8. I had been around Game. I've been around all these dudes. I've been around all these dudes before I went and got him. And I had to, in my mind, say who could ride with them. Who am I going to place my one shot on? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, and that's what people do when you see this show, you're going to see in the documentary, it's a lot of people who taking and putting their word behind these artists. and these artists is gonna blow up. Because it got to be somebody say, look, Dre, this the one. Or
Right.
this the one. Or Game, this the one. And when it was my turn, I told the world, no, he's the one. So I can say to the world, no, you're always late. I already knew.
Exactly, because he is definitely your contribution to hip hop. And I tell people that all the time. I say, man, it just wasn't no overnight stuff, because I thought it was genius what you did too. And I ain't gonna hold you no longer. I just thought it was genius. You kind of threw people off at first, because sometimes you would have them wearing red baseball caps in the videos and other stuff. It wasn't like what you did was genius.
That was a fight in the hood too. Let's keep that 100. That was a fight in the hood. That was a fight because you got to remember, when I came home, I didn't want nobody. I don't want the set tripping. I want my sons to feel like, Bloods, Cuz, this. Like that was purposeful. That was purposeful. I purposely did not make sure. I watched every video in his early videos. I listened to every lyric. We can't put that out. We ain't gonna sub diss these niggas. We ain't gonna cross this out in the wall. Because when we came with Nipsey, you gotta understand, bro, we was the first movement to not claim a city. We claimed a set. So it was very difficult because we didn't claim Compton, we didn't claim Watts, we didn't claim Long Beach, we didn't claim LA, we claimed Rolling 60s. And so it was a lot of people that was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do it. And I'm like, why? We ain't dissing nobody. We ain't finna diss nobody. We ain't finna alienate nobody. We gonna do it. And it was, in the beginning, he didn't want to do no songs with nobody but Rolling 60s. You know what I'm saying? And dudes who was affiliated with us. So it was pulling tooth, like, nah, man, we gotta do this. We got, and he had his feelings. He was young. He was a tiger, man. He was, he was a cub. He was ready to get on, but he got it. He got it. We need to do this. We got to do this to make this. We got to do this.
He started seeing it was a bigger picture than just the hood shit. For real.
Yeah.
Without you doing that, though, just imagine where he would have been. He probably wouldn't have made it if he didn't have that understanding or got that understanding from the big homie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you pretty much got to give yourself credit for what you created. And that's showing him that he had to be like versatile in the game to be successful. And he did that. Gotcha.
Nah. He had to be able to receive it and then put it back out. And he was great at that. He took what little I gave him and then what bigger example I gave him, and he made it work.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? We was together for a short period, but my influence in my neighborhood and my example in my neighborhood still poured into him. When we had the beef, you know what I'm saying? It was very short-lived. It was longer to everybody else in the world because the internet made it long. We had a one-day beef that people made long, but we always talked and we always built all the way up until the day he passed. You know what I mean? So I love that. I'm not the one who had to say I didn't get to tell him I loved you. I don't have that. I don't have them demons. I'm not the one who got to say I missed him, and I gave him his award while he was living. I gave him the only award he ever got. You know what I mean?
True that, yeah. Man, man, I can't thank you enough, man, for coming on the show. I know this is going to be big, man, because we got the dude that pretty much, synonymous with the face of L.A. They look at a map, it'd probably be a picture of your ass on that motherfucker.
All day.
California, you know what I mean?
They got me hiding in the back. Like,
man. And we glad to get you on. We glad to get you on here, man, because like I said, I don't know you a long time, man, and I'm just I can't say enough good stuff about you, because you do a lot of incredible stuff in the community, and we appreciate you, brother.
Okay, I'll be back after the thing drops. After it officially drops, I'm coming back.
For sure. Good luck. I want to holler at you, Big U.
My neighbor.
Sure.
Right.
Finally get a chance to let the